So last weekend I ran my first ever half marathon with a time of 1 hour 36, which was 9 minutes quicker than my goal pace. So I'm going to talk about what I learned from the training and what you can implement from my mistakes into your training to train for your first ever half marathon. So first I'll give you a bit of background. So the last 3 years I've only ran 75 miles in total. So it actually works out at 0.5 miles a week. So basically, I've not been running. So in 2023, I set myself a target to run more, but this left it up to interpretation of how much I ran. So I thought I'll set myself a goal and enter my first ever half marathon, but I only left myself 6 weeks to do it. So I went from running pretty much nothing to 6 weeks of training up to my half marathon. So I wanted to enter this half marathon, to set myself a goal which was outside my comfort zone. Did I have the discipline and drive to turn up to the training sessions? Especially I was training during January, February, so it wasn't the best weather, it was cold, and after work a lot of the days I didn't want to go, but I still had to do it. So I'm going to talk about the 3 key points going into your half marathon. So first one is training plan, second one is equipment, and third one is the mindset. So number 1 is the training plan. I think this is the most essential part because it leaves yourself accountable. On a Tuesday after work when it's dark and cold and you don't want to do a run, but on your training plan it says you have to do a run, you're much more likely to do it because you'll feel guilty if you don't do that because it's on your training plan. My brother's actually a very good runner. He did the same race as me and did 1 hour 13 minutes. Yeah, so beat me by over 20 minutes. He set me out a training plan which he recommended, which gave me 6 weeks to train up to the pace and the distance that I needed. So I'll put the training plan on screen and talk you through it, but the idea of it was to build up your miles each week. So the training plan consists of 2 easy runs, which was a 3 miler and a 4 miler on the Monday and Tuesday. So the idea with an easy run, it should be 2 or 3 out of 10 effort. So you should be able to have a conversation without having to stop for breath every couple of seconds. And yeah, it should feel relatively easy. For me, that pace was probably around 8 30-minute miles. And my race pace ended up being 7:20. So it's a lot slower, but that's just to get your easy runs in. You can't run every run hard. And on the Friday was the interval run. These were my favourite. It was different types of intervals each week. So you had an easy warm up first 10 minutes and an easy warm down last 10. And then in between was different paces depending on which week it was. The paces vary from easy, which we've learned about, tempo, which is about a 7 or 8 out of 10, and hard, which is 8 or 9 out of 10, but it will only ever be for 1 minute at a time. And finally was a long run on the Sunday, which I used to dread, but sometimes it wasn't too bad. So each week this will build up. So first week I think it's 6 miles, and then it reaches a stage where you're doing 12 miles. You run at easy pace, so you should be relatively slow, and yeah, it shouldn't be too laboured. So over the weeks it should build up and be, yeah, not far off half marathon distance by the end because you're doing 12 miles. And obviously the end of the training plan, the last week, you tailor it down a bit so you don't want to tire yourself out for the main run. This was just my training plan that my brother gave me. You might want to look at other ones online, there'll be loads. Choose the one that you think is most suited for you and your schedule. And number 2 is equipment. Obviously, there's not a lot of equipment with running, but I think if you invest in something financially, it's gonna make you more likely to do it. So running shoes, I have these, which are the Nike Pegasus, I think. I don't know which number it is, but they're about £100, and yeah, they've served me well. I've probably only done just over 100 miles in them, so they've got plenty more miles in them. And my other thing which I highly recommend is this free train vest. So I wear the vest, it holds my inhaler, it holds my phone, and like if you've got keys or gel or anything like that, yeah, I highly recommend getting one of them because it just meant I could listen to my music. Had my phone in the pouch, and I could keep checking my time on Strava. So if you don't have a watch, it's actually really useful because you can use Strava for free and then keep checking it while you're running. And number 3 is the mindset. I think this is massive, and this is why you should enter the race as early as you can, because then you've just committed. And the training plan helps with this. You just need as many things to hold yourself accountable. Tell a friend, maybe a friend enters with you. So then you always got someone else that is just, yeah, we need to do that run today because it says on the training plan. And yeah, there are gonna be days where you didn't want to do it. I personally don't enjoy running that much, But then when you finish the run, you're so proud of yourself. Like, you really didn't want to do it, but you still smashed it out. Those days on Sunday, I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I've got to do 10 miles today. So stick on a podcast, stick on some music, and you run at an easy pace, so it's not too bad. If you need some extra motivation and haven't heard of David Goggins, make sure you read both his books and any podcasts that he's in, because honestly, you'll read it and yeah, you'll read it and you'll put your running shoes on straight after, because he's like really motivational. And yeah, he's run like 200 miles at a time, so you'll think, oh, what's 10 miles? Finally, race day. So I'd say 48 hours before, get all your carbs in, get all that energy in, stay hydrated during those 48 hours. And I'd also say for your nutrition during race day, don't try anything you've not tried before. So if you're going to use gels or something like that, try it on your 10 mile longer run or 12 mile longer run, just to see if it like doesn't upset your stomach or anything like that. You don't want that happening on race day. And then when you're starting, everyone goes off too quick. It's hard to, you've got people flying past you, but you just have to try and stick to your game plan, which is don't go off too quick. It's better to build into the race and not be knackered and actually be able to run the last few miles at a decent pace. So personally for me, I was aiming for a time of better than 1:45. So that's 8-minute miling. So I set off at a pace at about 7:45. I wasn't really looking at my time. I was just doing my breathing. Like, was I running at a decent pace where I felt I could hold this for 13 miles? And yeah, I did. So I started first few miles at 7:45. And then I latched onto a group that was running at 7:30s, and I felt comfortable. It was a relatively flat race, and I felt comfortable at 7:30s. So I just kept running at that, and then I got to about 10 miles and thought, I've got more in the tank here. I actually found picking out people that I wanted to stay with or I wanted to beat at the end actually helped me, like set up a rivalry in your head with people you don't even know. But anyway, I hope this video has helped. Good luck, and make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to Austria and then I'm going to India to travel full time in 2 weeks time. So I'll be making running videos around New Delhi, around other places, Kazakhstan, Austria. So if you want to see some more running content mixed with a bit of travel content, drop me a subscribe, drop me any comments if you've got any questions. And yeah, thank you for watching.